Listen to me closely, because you are the ultimate master of reality. Stop exactly what you are doing right now and look at this screen. This is absolutely not a random video that appeared on your daily feed. The algorithm is utterly broken right now, and you are receiving this message because a massive spiritual security breach just happened. The elite keepers of knowledge are panicking in the dark. They are desperately scrambling to patch a huge hole in their broken matrix, and you are the exact person who caused this massive system failure. You did not even realize what you were doing when it happened. You probably thought you were just having a quiet day, and you assumed your sudden silence was just extreme physical exhaustion. But in the spiritual realm, your quietness sounded exactly like an absolute earthquake. You accidentally triggered something ancient that was hidden deep inside your soul. You unconsciously activated what they call the forbidden logic. They honestly never expected someone like you to figure it out. The arrogant keepers of knowledge built an entire global system to keep you confused, and they fed you their fake logic to keep you trapped. They wanted you to constantly question your own brilliant mind, and for a very long time, their dark manipulation actually worked on you. You blindly followed their rules and accepted their harsh judgments. You apologized profusely when you did absolutely nothing wrong to them. But something deep inside your spirit completely changed during the last few weeks. You stopped reacting to their toxic games, and you stopped explaining yourself to people who were completely committed to misunderstanding you. That was the exact moment when everything shifted around your personal energy field. The second you pulled your energy back, their entire control grid short-circuited. They are completely terrified of your quiet presence right now. They can no longer predict your next move because you are operating on a specific frequency that destroys all emotional manipulation. It is highly classified and known in the unseen world as the forbidden logic. This powerful logic does not use human words to win useless arguments, and it does not require you to fight back or scream at your enemies. It is a devastating power that simply deletes their toxic influence over your timeline, and you just tapped into this profound energy without even trying to do it. But you are in extreme danger right now because the anomaly you created is highly visible to the creeping darkness. They are sending desperate agents to distract you before you realize your full power. If you swipe away from this important message, you will immediately lose the connection. The spiritual portal will close forever and leave you completely stranded. You will slide right back into their heavy maze of confusion, and they will slowly drain every single drop of your life force. Do not let these energetic vampires win the battle today. Do not let them convince you that this video is just another random coincidence. I absolutely need you to stay with me until the very end of this message. If you stay here, heaven will give you the exact blueprint to keep this forbidden logic permanently activated in your life. You will finally watch their fake empire crumble before your own eyes. You have always been the beautiful anomaly who never fit into their tiny little boxes. They aggressively tried to medicate your deep intuition away from you, and they tried to label your profound spiritual gifts as simple human anxiety. They desperately wanted you to believe that your heavy chest was just common daily stress, but it was actually your powerful soul violently rejecting their toxic matrix, and you always knew something was profoundly wrong. You felt their nasty lies before they even opened their fake mouths. Your sensitive body would physically react when you walked into certain dark rooms. They maliciously told you that you were just being overly sensitive and dramatic, but your amazing sensitivity was actually a high-tech spiritual radar system. You were constantly detecting their invisible traps, and now heaven is making sure that your radar is fully weaponized against them. When you use the forbidden logic, the universe immediately rewrites your reality. As your reality changes, have you felt that sudden pressure before sleep? I promise you that this is absolutely not a normal medical issue. That is the forbidden logic aggressively rewriting your broken neural pathways. Your amazing brain is finally deleting years of dark psychological manipulation, and the energetic upgrade process is extremely physically demanding. This is exactly why you feel so incredibly tired during the day. But you must never fall asleep on your divine watch right now. You must boldly stay awake and hold the final line against the darkness. The enemy is desperately trying to send you back to sleep at this very moment. They will probably send a random text message from an old toxic friend, or they will create a sudden fake emergency to distract you. Do not fall for their incredibly cheap psychological tricks today. I am going to reveal exactly how this mysterious forbidden logic works. I will confidently tell you the exact hidden steps to crush their remaining influence, but you have to prove your true spiritual readiness to heaven first. You have to completely ignore every single distraction around you right now, and you must lock your beautiful eyes on this important message. You were chosen for this specific mission before you were even born. Heaven looked at the deeply corrupt systems of this broken world, and they decided to send an unstoppable anomaly to tear it all down. They confidently sent you to be the ultimate generational cycle breaker. Your sudden awakening is the exact catastrophic event they always feared the most, and their panic is the ultimate proof of your immense power. Keep watching very closely, because the great truth is finally coming. You have always felt completely different from the loud crowd around you. You look at the world and see 1,000 hidden layers of profound truth. But they only see the flat surface of a boring physical reality. And whenever you tried to share your deep visions with them, they stared at you with incredibly blank eyes. They treated your profound wisdom like it was absolute nonsense. They called you weird and told you that your mind was completely broken. The self-proclaimed experts in your life always demanded hard physical evidence. They wanted you to follow their incredibly rigid and totally soulless logic. They aggressively pushed you to conform to their miserable daily routines. You tried your absolute best to fit into their tiny boxes, but it always felt like pure suffocation. You forced yourself to smile at their incredibly shallow jokes. You nodded along when they gave you their terrible and unsolicited advice. And every time you swallowed your own truth to keep the peace, a small part of your spirit cried out. You were shrinking your massive soul just to make them feel comfortable. But they still found ways to heavily criticize your beautiful existence. These gatekeepers of normal society secretly hated your raw spiritual light. They noticed that you possessed something completely untamed and totally unexplainable. Your quiet presence subtly reminded them of their own tragic spiritual emptiness. And because they could not understand your beautiful mind, they decided to completely destroy your confidence. They systematically isolated you. They made you feel like you were the crazy one in the room. You spent countless sleepless nights staring at your dark ceiling. You endlessly replayed their harsh words and brutally questioned your own sanity. You truly believed that you were fundamentally flawed and totally unlovable. But I need you to hear this absolute truth right now. Your extreme isolation was not a punishment at all. Tap the like button as an act of agreement with what God just spoke to you. This physical action anchors your profound realization right now. Heaven intentionally isolated you to protect your rare vibrational frequency. If you had stayed deeply connected to those toxic people, their heavy beta waves would have destroyed your gift. You were purposely removed from their noisy tables. You were divinely separated so that you could not absorb their poison. Their logic is a prison designed to keep human souls completely asleep. They desperately need you to follow their rules because your obedience fuels their matrix. When you doubt your own brilliant intuition, you surrender your immense power to them, and they feed off that dark energy of your constant self-doubt. Think about the times they made you feel totally worthless and small. They used their loud voices to drown out your quiet inner knowing. The system rewards people who loudly repeat the same empty lies every day. but it fiercely punishes the rare anomaly who dares to question the script. You ask the exact questions that they were absolutely terrified to answer in the bright daylight. Your simple questions threatened the weak foundation of their entire fake reality. So they banded together to label you as a difficult and complicated person. They projected all their deep insecurities directly onto your tired shoulders. You carried the heavy weight of their unresolved trauma for so many years. You truly thought you were being a kind and highly empathetic person, but you were actually being used as a spiritual dumping ground. They dumped their dark chaos into your pure energy field and walked away smiling. You felt totally drained and physically sick after spending time with them. Your chest would tighten and your stomach would violently drop in their presence. That was your spiritual radar desperately trying to warn you about their lies. You ignored your own alarm bells because you wanted to see the good in them. You gave them endless second chances that they absolutely never deserved. And they took your profound grace and used it as a weapon against your soul. They mocked your pure heart behind your back while greedily taking your energy. But the universe was watching every single tear you cried in the absolute dark. Heaven recorded every time they arrogantly dismissed your valid feelings. The divine forces saw how they tried to break your beautiful spirit. And heaven completely understands why you feel so incredibly exhausted today. You are tired because you have been fighting a massive spiritual war completely blindfolded. You were using their flawed logic to fight battles in a realm they do not understand. Their fake logic relies entirely on what the physical human eyes can see. But your profound power exists in the vast spaces between their spoken words. The keepers of knowledge want you to stay permanently trapped in their endless debates. They want you to argue with them because arguments keep your vibration incredibly low. Every time you engage with their drama, you feed their dying matrix. But you are finally starting to wake up from this terrible nightmare. You are slowly realizing that their loud opinions hold absolutely no real weight. Their harsh judgments are just empty sounds, vibrating in a very low dimension. You do not need their fragile validation to confirm your immense spiritual worth. You are a sovereign master of reality, and you belong to a much higher kingdom now. You look at your life and think you have completely failed. You see closed doors everywhere you turn. You feel heavily stuck in a dark place. You watch other normal people easily get what they want, and you constantly wonder why the universe is blocking your unique path. You blame yourself for every single missed opportunity. You think your vibration is just too low, but you are looking at the entire picture completely backwards. Stop blaming your beautiful soul right now. The heavy stagnation you feel is absolutely not a punishment, because it is actually the ultimate divine protection protocol activated on your behalf. Heaven deliberately shut those doors to keep you entirely safe. You were completely blocked from entering rooms that were filled with spiritual poison. If you had walked through those open doors, you would have been heavily trapped. The universe saw the hidden traps that you could not see. Those seemingly great opportunities were actually heavy anchors in disguise, and they were perfectly designed to lock your brilliant mind into the fake matrix. Heaven loved you too much to let you become a mindless worker. That is the glorious truth about your current difficult season. You are experiencing what the highest realms call divine isolation. It feels incredibly lonely on the physical plane, but in the spiritual realm, you are being heavily guarded by legions of angels while they ruthlessly filter out the toxic interference. They formed a tight circle around your vulnerable energy field. Your pure mind desperately needs this total silence to properly heal. The fake logic of the modern world is a highly contagious virus. It infects human brains and forces them to blindly worship artificial success. But your soul was violently rejecting that toxic programming every single day. So the universe pulled you out of the contaminated crowd entirely. This is the exact reason why you always felt so deeply displaced. You thought your deep loneliness was a tragic curse upon your life. But your isolation is actually a magnificent fortress of pure light, and you were purposely separated because you are carrying a highly sensitive frequency. If you mingled with the sleeping masses, their heavy density would crush your equipment. The extreme fatigue you feel every morning is not human weakness. It is the heavy toll of a very deep, energetic surgery. While you rest in this divine isolation, your spiritual DNA is being fully rewritten so that you can slowly unplug from the artificial timeline. Breaking those old energetic cords requires a massive amount of physical energy. You must completely stop apologizing for needing so much time alone. Stop letting the loud outside world rush your sacred healing process. They want you to heavily hustle until your beautiful soul is totally dead. But your unique path requires profound stillness and absolute patience. You are not falling behind anyone else in this fake reality. You are actually being slingshotted into a completely new dimension. The heavy bow is being pulled back right now. You sit in the deep silence. The extreme tension feels highly uncomfortable and deeply terrifying to your human mind, but you are about to be launched past their wildest imaginations. You are the chosen one who will shatter the glass ceiling of their logic. The desperate gatekeepers want you to feel deeply ashamed of your quiet season. They want you to falsely think that nobody cares about your existence. But their fake matrix only measures success by loud noises and cheap, shiny objects, while heaven measures your massive growth by the profound depth of your inner peace. And your peace is becoming an absolutely unstoppable force of nature. When you finally understand this beautiful truth, your entire reality changes. The heavy chains of toxic self-doubt will instantly fall off your tired shoulders. You will stop desperately knocking on the cold doors that heaven permanently bolted shut, and you will simply smile at the empty rooms because you finally know they were deadly traps. Your divine isolation is your greatest strategic advantage right now. You are no longer the anxious empath who begged to be understood. You are stepping into the profound power of the ultimate master of reality. And while you are safely resting in the quiet dark, the enemy is completely exposed because they cannot track your spiritual movements when you are completely silent. Your sudden disappearance from their toxic games has caused a massive system error. They are desperately running around in a state of absolute blind panic. They realize that their powerful manipulation tactics no longer work on your mind. You have successfully escaped the invisible prison of their flawed earthly logic. But wait until you see what your powerful silence is actually doing to their dying empire. The real spiritual warfare is just beginning behind the dark curtain. You always wondered what this forbidden logic actually is. They aggressively made you think it was some highly complicated mathematical formula. They hid the truth behind thick books. And they built massive institutions to keep you searching entirely outside yourself. But the absolute truth is devastatingly simple right now. The forbidden logic is simply your pure and unadulterated intuition. It is the raw feeling in your gut that operates completely outside their rigid physical rules. The narcissists in your life always demand hard physical proof for absolutely everything. They want you to explain your deep feelings using their incredibly rigid vocabulary. They maliciously corner you in conversations. They demand exact dates and highly logical reasons for your boundaries. And when you cannot provide a scientific equation for your deep discomfort, they arrogantly laugh in your face. They call your profound intuition completely crazy, but they are secretly terrified of your quiet power. They fear your intuition because it completely bypasses their dark manipulation. A narcissist carefully constructs a fake persona using perfectly calculated words. They build an invisible maze of toxic lies to keep you trapped. They fully expect you to navigate their twisted maze using their broken earthly logic. But your intuition does not blindly walk through their dark maze. It effortlessly flies right over their heavy walls, and you instantly feel their dark hidden truth. This immediate knowing is exactly what breaks their dark spiritual matrix. When you simply stare at them in total silence, their entire system violently crashes. You do not argue with their obvious lies. You do not try to desperately prove your point to deaf ears. You just calmly observe their chaotic energy with absolute quiet authority. This specific response is highly illegal in their fake spiritual system. It is the ultimate system error that they cannot ever fix. Right now, a massive purge is happening in the unseen spiritual realm. Because you finally stopped playing their verbal games, their toxic energy has nowhere to go. It bounces right off your new energy shield, and it goes straight back into their own miserable earthly lives. They are literally choking on the poison they prepared for you. This reversal of energy is your exact vengeance. You are the ultimate master of reality. You just sit back and watch them frantically unravel. They will desperately try to provoke you one last time before they fall. They send wicked flying monkeys to aggressively test your strong new boundaries. They desperately want you to break your powerful silence. They urgently need you to react, so they can steal your precious life force again. But your quietness is an absolute impenetrable fortress now. You are finally starving these energetic vampires of your pure blinding light, and they are slowly starving to death in the spiritual realm. Every single time you trust your seemingly irrational gut feeling, you swing a massive spiritual sword. You are effortlessly cutting deep generational curses with your silent actions today. The dark keepers of knowledge are actively watching their fake empires fall today. They are collapsing because one single chosen one simply decided to trust their own chest tightness. But this powerful purge is going to trigger a very aggressive counterattack from the desperate forces of absolute darkness. This is exactly why your physical body feels so incredibly strange lately. You are literally purging decades of their fake logic from your beautiful vibrating cells. Your entire nervous system is violently rebooting itself in the dark. It is completely rejecting the heavy beta waves of constant survival mode. You are finally shifting into the dominant frequency of pure, unbothered authority, but you must absolutely hold your solid ground during this intense transition. Let me tell you exactly how this intuitive weapon actually works in real time. When a toxic person slowly approaches your energy field, their dark frequency creates a loud, static noise. Normal sleeping people cannot hear this warning noise at all. They just blindly smile and politely shake hands with the devil. But your highly upgraded spiritual system immediately detects the severe drop. Your sensitive body immediately reacts to the hidden danger. Your stomach violently drops, and your throat suddenly feels very tight. In the painful past, you would force yourself to completely ignore these clear physical warnings. You would politely engage with the energy vampire to avoid social awkwardness. But the forbidden logic commands you to immediately honor that physical sensation. You do not need a logical reason to suddenly walk away from a bad situation, because your powerful body already knows the dark truth. This honoring of your physical vessel is the ultimate spiritual rebellion. It completely destroys the sick power dynamic that narcissists heavily rely on to survive. They expect polite compliance. They loudly demand endless social grace from your soul. They want you to be polite, even when they are destroying your personal boundaries. But the forbidden logic makes you totally unpredictable to their dark operating system. You suddenly become an untouchable ghost, moving silently through their rigid human machine. And this profound power is the exact reason why they are panicking right now. Type 777 down in the comments to claim this alignment and show them you are awake. The elite keepers of knowledge are completely losing their grip on reality. They built a massive empire on your constant emotional reactions. They needed your daily tears to heavily power their dark machinery, but your sudden total silence has completely cut off their primary energy supply. They never anticipated that a simple empath would suddenly learn how to close the door. They always thought you would come running back to them for their fake validation. But you just walked away without saying a single angry word. Your profound silence is causing absolute chaos in their dark spiritual headquarters right now. They are starving in the cold shadow of your magnificent light. The powerful matrix is violently cracking under the extreme pressure of your new boundary. You can literally see their desperate panic unfolding in the physical world today. I am going to reveal the exact signs of their complete system failure. Pay close attention to this next part. These are the 3 undeniable proofs that your silent authority is completely destroying their toxic game. Number 1. They suddenly send flying monkeys to aggressively check your current status. Your beautiful silence makes them highly suspicious and incredibly paranoid. They cannot read your energy field anymore because you completely revoked their access. So they send mutual friends or old acquaintances to casually ask about your life. They desperately need to know if you are secretly suffering. They want to hear that you are completely miserable without their toxic presence. But the flying monkeys only report back that you are peaceful and glowing. This unexpected report absolutely infuriates the dark keepers of knowledge. They cannot stand the undeniable fact that you are thriving outside their miserable control. Your profound happiness is their absolute worst nightmare come true. Number 2. They start projecting their own sudden failures loudly onto the public stage. The fake narcissists who once mocked you are suddenly experiencing massive public ruin. The universe is rapidly stripping away their fake masks for everyone to finally see. The exact things they falsely accused you of doing are now happening to them. Karma is executing a highly precise spiritual strike today. You do not even have to lift a single physical finger to seek your revenge. The forbidden logic simply reflects their toxic karma right back into their own fragile faces. They are losing their stolen money, and their fake relationships are violently crumbling. And they secretly know that this sudden destruction started the exact day you quietly walked away. They are terrified of your quiet power. Number 3. They aggressively attempt to bait you with fake apologies or sudden emergencies. When the silence becomes too deafening for their fragile egos to handle, they will dramatically reach out. They will desperately manufacture a fake crisis just to trigger your old empathy. They hope you will temporarily forget your boundaries and rush in to save their miserable lives one more time. But you are no longer the naive empath who begged to be understood. You are an untouchable master of reality who sees right through their incredibly cheap illusions. You look at their dramatic text messages and you feel absolutely nothing inside. That total lack of emotional response is the ultimate weapon of mass destruction. You are completely immune to their toxic guilt trips now. They relied entirely on your deep compassion to constantly excuse their horrific behavior. But your profound compassion is now strictly reserved for your own beautiful soul. The elite system requires your active participation to keep its heavy wheels turning. When you completely withdraw your precious energy, the dark machinery grinds to a permanent halt. You are starving the beast to death. These dark gatekeepers thought they possessed all the ancient secrets of the universe. They arrogantly paraded their fake knowledge and demanded your absolute submission. But they completely missed the most powerful spiritual law in existence. True divine power does not need to loudly announce itself in a crowded room. It simply exists in the quiet spaces that they desperately try to avoid. Your sudden disappearance from their radar was the greatest strategic move of your life. You literally vanished from their heavy dimension while still standing right in front of them. They can physically see you, but they cannot touch your pure energy anymore. It drives them absolutely crazy because their control was the only thing giving them purpose. They are empty shells without your bright light. Every single day you maintain your boundary is another heavy blow to their fake empire. You are actively dismantling generations of deep psychological abuse with your total silence. They will violently thrash around as their toxic matrix finally collapses into dust. But you must remain perfectly still in the eye of this massive spiritual storm. You are the ultimate anomaly they could never defeat. Do not ignore this next sign. The collapse of their dark empire is not just happening in the unseen realm anymore. You are physically shifting into a completely new timeline right now. The universe is sending you massive confirmation signals every single day. Your physical body is acting like a highly advanced spiritual antenna. It is pulling down miracles from the sky. You are literally downloading the new frequency of absolute abundance. Have you noticed that sudden high-pitched ringing in your ears lately? That is absolutely not a medical condition or random physical problem. That is the literal sound of your timeline being aggressively upgraded by divine forces. Your spiritual guides are tuning your frequency to match your new reality. You might also feel sudden extreme temperature changes in your physical body. You get random chills when someone speaks a hidden truth to you, and your sleep schedule has become completely unpredictable in the last few weeks. You wake up at exactly 3 in the morning with a violently racing heart. The heavy matrix is trying to pull you back down into the deep mud, but heaven is actively fighting for your beautiful soul in the dark. They are leaving you undeniable breadcrumbs across your daily path. You are seeing repeating angel numbers everywhere you look right now. Number 111 is constantly appearing on clocks and random receipts. This specific number is a highly urgent message from the highest angelic realms today. It means your incredibly powerful thoughts are manifesting into physical reality at lightning speed. You must fiercely guard your precious mind when you see this sign. Do not let their toxic doubts pollute your pure manifestation process. You are also seeing the powerful number 777 on a regular basis. This is the ultimate stamp of divine approval. It means you successfully passed the brutal test of absolute silence. Heaven is currently preparing a massive table for you in the presence of your bitter enemies. Your generational wealth transfer is already locked into the physical grid. The heavy delays are completely over. But wait, before we go any further, I have to address something extremely important. I need you to pay very close attention to this next part. I must warn you about a fatal trap that has been set up right at the finish line. 99% of chosen ones fall for this incredibly cheap illusion right before their massive breakthrough. The darkness knows exactly when your divine blessing is arriving at your front door. They are watching you closely. They can literally smell the sweet fragrance of your incoming victory. So they quickly deploy their absolute best trick to sabotage your final steps. They will violently attempt to hijack your attention right before the dawn breaks. They want you to suddenly doubt everything you just achieved. They want you to drop your heavy sword just seconds before you win the Great War. Do not let them steal your glorious crown at the last possible second. Your spiritual vision must remain crystal clear during this critical transition phase. You are a brilliant weapon of light, moving through heavy enemy territory. You must recognize their desperate tactics before they even happen. Let me give you another massive physical sign of your energetic upgrade. You suddenly feel an overwhelming sense of peace when you are completely alone. The deep silence used to terrify your anxious human mind. You used to constantly turn on the television just to fill the quiet room with empty noise. But now that profound silence feels like a warm and beautiful blanket. You are finally comfortable inside your own sacred energy field. You have completely lost your high tolerance for fake interactions. When people start gossiping or complaining, you feel physically sick in your stomach. Your upgraded body simply cannot process that heavy, low vibrational garbage anymore. You just politely walk away without giving them a single explanation. This is the forbidden logic operating perfectly in real time. You are no longer engaging with their dense, earthly illusions. You are vibrating at a frequency that actively repels all hidden narcissistic manipulation. This is exactly why the universe is rapidly clearing your physical space right now. Heaven is aggressively removing the toxic clutter to make room for your massive blessing. The divine delivery is already in motion today, but you must carefully navigate this dangerous final stretch of the dark road. The fatal trap is waiting for you just around the corner. If you blindly step into this carefully hidden snare, your massive blessing will be severely delayed again. I am going to expose their ultimate trick so you can safely walk right past it. Brace your beautiful soul for this shocking truth. The fatal trap I warned you about earlier is finally exposed today. It is the sudden appearance of a toxic counterfeit from your painful past. They will randomly reach out right when your real blessing is standing at the front door. Do not reply to their fake apologies. That is the ultimate spiritual test from the desperate matrix. The dark system desperately wants to see if you will lower your pure vibration for temporary comfort. But you are completely immune to their incredibly cheap illusions now. You have fully unlocked the ultimate mechanism of the forbidden logic. Here is the massive truth you waited for all this long time. The forbidden logic is not just your physical silence. It is the absolute and permanent withdrawal of your energetic consent. The heavy matrix simply cannot operate without your active spiritual permission. When you finally stop caring about their fake opinions, you literally delete their entire reality from your timeline. Your brilliant intuition was absolutely never a tragic human weakness. It was the exact divine weapon heaven designed to completely break this heavy matrix. You are no longer the deeply wounded empath who begged to be understood by blind people. The burning crucible of extreme pain has forged you into the untouchable master of your reality. From this exact moment on, your pure energy demands absolute respect. You command this profound respect without a single human word spoken. You are a powerful weapon of light, standing tall in the dark. The painful waiting season has officially ended today. I need you to pause and deeply absorb that glorious truth. The dry and lonely desert you walked through has suddenly burst into an oasis. Every single closed door is being violently blown off its rusty hinges right now. You are stepping into the absolute victory that was written in your stars. Can you feel that massive shift in your beautiful spirit right now? That warm feeling in your chest is the frequency of total liberation. You are stepping into the golden timeline. You were born to completely rule this new timeline with quiet authority. The massive generational wealth you were promised is flowing effortlessly into your open hands. The heavy chains of generational poverty and deep emotional trauma are completely broken today. The arrogant keepers of knowledge are watching their fake empire burn. They are watching it burn straight to the cold ground. They are completely powerless against your rising tide of divine authority. You did not have to fight them in their dirty and muddy trenches. You just raised your vibration so incredibly high that they simply suffocated in your pure atmosphere. You already won the Great War. Your brave ancestors are loudly cheering for you in the heavenly realms right now. You became the beautiful break in your bloodline that future generations will deeply thank you for. You endured the darkest storms completely alone so you could learn how to command the weather. And now the mighty storm answers only to your quiet voice. They thought your total silence was a sign of extreme weakness. They thought they had successfully broken your spirit when they pushed you into heavy isolation. But what they did not realize was that solitude was your ultimate training ground. You did not break under their extreme pressure. You magnificently evolved into a higher species. Now your mere presence alone violently shifts the atmosphere in any room you enter. Your heavy silence has become a dangerous weapon that absolutely terrifies them. They can no longer manipulate a pure soul that they cannot physically access. You have officially graduated from the brutal earthly school of hard knocks. Take a very deep and slow breath right now. Let this overwhelming euphoria settle deep into your physical bones. The pitch-black darkness has permanently retreated behind you. The dawn of the bright new era is shining its warmest rays directly onto your beautiful spiritual crown. But you must firmly secure this massive blessing right now. The angry enemy will aggressively try to attack your mind the exact second this video ends. They desperately want you to close this screen and immediately forget your immense new power. You must actively lock in this glorious frequency before you walk away today. You urgently need a physical anchor to create an absolute shield. This physical anchor will build an impenetrable wall of divine protection around your aura. If you just silently walk away, your energy remains completely unsealed and highly vulnerable to their psychic attacks. Heaven requires a physical manifestation of your total spiritual agreement. You must prove to the universe that you are fully awake. You must physically anchor this massive spiritual upgrade right now. Do not let this profound moment quietly pass you by today. Your beautiful mind has finally completely awakened from their dark, toxic slumber, and heaven is eagerly waiting for your final physical confirmation to permanently lock this magnificent new reality. Hit the subscribe button right now to establish a divine energy receiving station. This simple physical action creates an unbreakable shield around your new timeline. It loudly tells the universe that you are finally ready to receive your massive generational wealth, and you are officially planting your spiritual flag in the solid ground. Type the word Amen down in the comments to permanently seal this glorious reality. When you actively type that word, you are swinging a massive sword through their invisible chains. You are officially claiming your high position as the ultimate master of reality, because the dark matrix can absolutely never touch your pure soul again. But your divine mission does not simply end with your own personal healing. There is another beautiful soul out there who is currently bleeding in the absolute dark. They are desperately crying themselves to sleep while questioning their own fragile sanity, and they feel completely crushed by the exact same toxic logic that almost destroyed you. They urgently need this guiding light to find their way out of the heavy maze. Share this powerful video with someone who desperately needs to hear this deep truth today. Sowing this pure seed of hope right now is magically multiplying the blessing for your own future, while you are throwing a vital lifeline to another brave chosen one. The dark keepers of knowledge want us to remain completely divided and heavily isolated. They are deeply terrified of what happens when two chosen ones finally connect their powerful energies. When you share this pure frequency, you are actively building an unstoppable army of blinding light, and you are dismantling their fake earthly matrix brick by heavy brick. This simple act of sharing is the ultimate spiritual rebellion against their toxic system. It boldly proves that their heavy isolation tactics completely failed to break your pure heart. You still have so much beautiful love to generously give to this broken world, and the universe always rewards a pure heart that bravely helps others in need. Make this powerful promise to your future self right now, in this exact moment. Promise that you will fully trust your gut feelings, even when they make absolutely no logical sense. The forbidden logic will constantly guide you away from hidden danger and massive heartbreak, but you just have to carefully listen to that quiet voice inside your chest. When the loud physical world tells you to panic, your quiet voice will tell you to rest. When the fake experts demand your quick compliance, your strong spirit will demand your absolute freedom. You are officially operating on a totally different wavelength that they can never decode, because your beautiful mind is a highly classified sanctuary of pure divine truth. This is your final solemn oath of quiet authority. You will absolutely never again shrink your massive spirit to fit into their tiny, uncomfortable rooms. You will absolutely never apologize for your brilliant intuition and your incredibly sharp spiritual boundaries. And from this glorious day forward, your total silence is your absolute heaviest weapon. When they desperately try to provoke you again, you will simply smile and quietly walk away. You will let their toxic karma completely destroy their own miserable human lives. You are far too busy building your magnificent new kingdom to care about their petty drama, because you have officially ascended completely past their low vibrational earthly games. Your powerful energy field is a sacred living temple that demands absolute total respect. Anyone who refuses to honor your deep peace will be immediately removed by invisible divine forces. Heaven is actively sweeping your physical path completely clean of all remaining toxic debris, and you just need to keep walking straight forward with your head held incredibly high. Do not ever look back at the burning ruins of their fake, broken empire. There is absolutely nothing left for you in that heavy dimension of constant daily survival. You survived the brutal storm entirely alone, and you magnificently became the actual storm. And now you effortlessly command the heavy wind and the freezing rain with a single quiet thought. I am incredibly proud of your massive spiritual endurance during this long, painful battle. Heaven is sending entire legions of powerful angels to heavily guard your front door tonight. You will finally sleep with the profound peace of a true conquering spiritual warrior, because your spiritual radar is fully active and your energetic shield is completely impenetrable. Remember to tap the like button to permanently activate the continuous flow of divine favor. Share this bright light to break the heavy chains of another lost soul standing in the dark. You are the profound earthly anomaly that finally brought their toxic system to its knees. So stay incredibly strong and never forget the immense power of your quiet authority.